If you've read Revelation, you already know where this is going. A wound is healing, a beast is rising, and while the world celebrates, prophecy is quietly unfolding behind the scenes. This isn't fear-mongering. This is Bible. And today, we may have just witnessed the beginning of the image of the beast being formed, the moment when church and state begin to walk hand in hand. 1 or 2 weeks ago, I made a video about Trump's favorite, an American cardinal named Raymond Burke. At the time, that made perfect sense to me. America is shifting. Donald Trump is rapidly reshaping the country, and he has a limited window of influence, just 4 years. So the idea of an American pope didn't just seem plausible. It seemed prophetically significant. Just to be clear, I'm not endorsing anyone, I'm simply observing. For those who study the Bible and pay close attention to prophecy, we understand that two powers, Rome and the United States, must eventually unite. The divide must be bridged. The wound mentioned in Revelation must be healed. And we are watching that unfold in real time. Which brings us to today, a day when history and prophecy seem to collide. Today, headlines were made with the election of Pope Leo XIV. Never before has that name been taken by someone born in the United States. Robert Francis Prevost, American by birth, educated in Chicago and Villanova, emerged from the Sistine Chapel as the first U.S.-born pontiff. But this American pope is far more than a novelty. Most of Prevost's ministry took place in Peru, where he spent decades on the mission field, rising from a local parish pastor to the Bishop of Chiclayo. In 2023, Pope Francis appointed him as Prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops and President of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America, firmly placing him within Francis's inner circle. This choice carries immense symbolic weight. By ancient reckoning, Leo XIV is the first pontiff from the United States in the Church's entire history. Americans worldwide could scarcely miss the message. An entire continent once distant from the papal throne now has a man of its own origins seated in St. Peter's Basilica. President Trump's reaction highlights how poignant this felt even politically. He congratulated the new pope on social media with unmistakable pride. It is such an honor that he is the first American pope. What excitement, and what a great honor for our country. I look forward to meeting Pope Leo XIV. Washington buzzed at the news. One commentator noted the election's pioneering nature and the diplomatic and symbolic significance for the United States of having a pope born on its territory. In other words, people see a closing gap between America and the Vatican. A Vatican now, in a very real sense, with American leadership. Where before great oceanic and cultural divides separated Rome from Washington, suddenly the two capital cities feel more connected. But this connection also raises questions. America's founding documents famously guard against religious entanglement. The concept of a wall of separation between church and state was even coined by Thomas Jefferson in 1802. Our national identity has long included the idea that government and organized religion should keep their distance, each free in its domain. Now, with such a powerful overlap, a US-born pope even more congenial to our world, some worry where that line will be drawn. Will faith steer politics, or politics steer faith? When top political leaders so openly embrace the pope, we must ponder how the guiding hand of faith interacts with the guiding hand of government. In pondering these developments, I find myself recalling the dramatic symbols of Revelation. In Revelation 13, John describes two beasts arising on the world stage. One rose up out of the sea, an image of a vast, persecuting power. The other came up out of the earth and looked innocent, with two horns like a lamb, but it spoke with the voice of a dragon. Today's headlines don't name names, but the pattern is striking. Imagine the first beast, a coalition of religious and political forces wielding authority, perhaps even persecuting dissent. And the second beast, a seemingly pure or gentle power, a lamb in appearance, that spreads propaganda or miracles, yet is secretly aligned with the first. It even deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of miracles, and urges the world to make an image of the first beast, worshipping it under threat. These are vivid metaphors, not easy to pin on current events. Yet one can't help but wonder if there are echoes today. Revelation continues that this image will be given life and demand worship. Those who refuse will be executed. Even commerce is brought under its sway. He causes all, both small and great, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark. Think of that. Complete economic coercion tied to ideological compliance. Have you noticed talk of a universal day of rest or proposals for a unified moral code backed by law? Sometimes I pause as voices in the public square discuss national values or a moral consensus to bind the country together. To an alert ear, these concepts carry a faint prophetic ring. Could they hint at an image to unite people under one symbol of faith? Perhaps. It's unsettling to even consider, and yet the scripture seems to hint that something like this could arise. Laws enforcing worship, or at least compliance with religiously inspired moral standards, imposed for the sake of unity or commerce. It's at moments like this that we must remember, and this is no small thing, how rapidly the closing scenes are said to unfold in prophecy. Many who watch world events believe we are in a time when changes come suddenly. In recent years, we've seen political alliances shift overnight. Economies teeter on collapse and cultural debates reach fever pitch in months. Could it be that the final movements happen with speed? Could tools like global finance, media, or technology be used to pressure conscience? The text of Revelation suggests as much. Refusal to worship the beast leads to exclusion from daily needs. No one might buy or sell without the mark. A clear economic pressure. All this points to a world where allegiance is tested not by gunfire, but by bills of sale, national decrees, and social norms. And in this scenario, what of true believers? The closing chapters of prophecy make it personal. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. The faithful are characterized not by earthly power, but by loyalty. Loyalty to God's law and to Christ, even under pressure. I do not offer these thoughts to frighten anyone. In fact, I read these signs as a call to calm, not panic. The Bible's vision ends with God's people exalted in light, not in fear. Revelation 14:12 reminds us that despite the trials, true believers are those keeping the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus, a message of hope for those who feel confused. So, as news of Pope Leo XIV breaks every record of surprise and symbolism, let it nudge us into deeper reflection, not conspiracy. I want to hear from you, and type in the comments what you think about this. If you believe prophecy is being fulfilled, write, "He who has ears, let him hear," in the comments below. In these days of both wonder and warning, perhaps the wisest response is quiet vigilance. Pray, read, and seek wisdom, as the prophet John urged when he quoted Isaiah, "Who among you is wise? Let him understand the number of the beast." Revelation 13:18, paraphrase. Keep your eyes open to what is happening in the world, but keep your hands ready in mercy and your feet on the path of truth. The world may be watching an unprecedented scene, America's first pope. But the story we live is still the one that has been written in Holy Writ for generations. Let us remain alert and prayerful, allowing truth and love to guide us through whatever comes. After all, it is neither power nor politics, but faith and fidelity that will carry us safely to the end. If this video left you with more questions than answers, don't worry. Maybe you're new here. If so, I invite you to watch this next video where we dive deeper into what the Bible really says about these prophetic events. It will help connect the dots. Click here and keep watching with an open mind and an open Bible.